Have you ever heard of a city being built from scratch in the middle of a desert? Not just any city, but a futuristic megacity that costs over $1 trillion? Sounds like something from a science fiction movie, right? Well, it's actually happening right now, and it's called NEOM. NEOM is Saudi Arabia's most ambitious project ever. They're literally building an entire city in the desert, from nothing. And when I say ambitious, I mean really ambitious. We're talking about a project so big that you can see it from space. So what exactly is NEOM? Why is Saudi Arabia spending so much money on it? And most importantly, can they actually pull this off? Today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about this incredible project. Trust me, by the end of this video, your mind will be blown. Let's start with the basics. NEOM is a planned city in the northwest region of Saudi Arabia. But calling it just a city doesn't do it justice. It's actually a collection of multiple mega-projects, each more mind-blowing than the last. The name NEOM comes from two parts. NEOM means new in Greek, and M stands for Mustaqbal, which means future in Arabic. So basically NEOM means new future. Pretty fitting name, don't you think? The Saudi government announced this project back in 2017. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman is the mastermind behind it. He's betting big on this project. Really big. The original budget was $500 billion. Yes, you heard that right. $500 billion. But as the plans got bigger and crazier, so did the budget. Now experts estimate it's going to cost around $1.5 trillion. That's more money than most countries have. So what's the vision behind NEOM? What are they trying to build? According to Saudi Arabia's plans, NEOM will be a place where the future comes to life. They want to be powered completely by renewable energy. Solar panels and wind turbines everywhere. Zero carbon emissions. A completely green city. They're talking about flying taxis. Artificial intelligence running everything. Robot servants. Hologram teachers. Seriously, this sounds like something straight out of sci-fi movie. But here's the thing. Saudi Arabia isn't just dreaming. They're actually building it. Construction started in 2020, and it hasn't stopped since. Thousands of workers, hundreds of machines, working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now you might be wondering why. Why would Saudi Arabia spend trillions of dollars building a futuristic city in the middle of nowhere? The answer is simple but important. Oil. For decades, Saudi Arabia has been one of the richest countries in the world because they have lots of oil. They pump it out of the ground and sell it to the whole world. This made them incredibly wealthy. But there's a problem. The world is changing. People are starting to use electric cars. Countries are switching to solar and wind energy. Scientists are warning us that burning oil is destroying our planet. This means one thing. In the future, the world won't need as much oil. And if the world doesn't need oil, Saudi Arabia has a massive problem. Their entire economy depends on selling oil. So they're using their oil money now to build something that will make them rich in the future. That's where NEOM comes in. They want NEOM to be their backup plan, their next big thing, their future after oil. NEOM is being built in the Tabuk province in the northwestern part of Saudi Arabia. This area is mostly empty desert. Hot, dry, and not many people live there. But Saudi Arabia chose this location very carefully. It's close to the Red Sea, which means easy access to shipping routes. It's also close to Europe, Asia, and Africa. About 40% of the world's population can reach NEOM within a 6-hour flight. The total area of NEOM is absolutely massive. We're talking about 26,500 square kilometers. To put that in perspective, that's bigger than the entire country of Slovenia. It's about the same size as the state of Massachusetts in the United States. On this huge piece of land, Saudi Arabia is building multiple projects, and each one is crazier than the last. Let me tell you about the most famous part of NEOM. It's called the Line, and trust me, this is the craziest thing you'll hear today. Imagine a city that's just one straight line, not a circle, not spread out like normal cities, just a straight line cutting through the desert. That's exactly what the line is. Saudi Arabia is building a city that stretches 170 kilometers long. That's about 105 miles. To give you an idea, that's like driving from Los Angeles to San Diego. But here's the wild part. The line will only be 200 meters wide. Yes, you read that correctly. It's super long, but super narrow. And it's going to be 500 meters tall. That's taller than the Empire State Building. Imagine two massive, mirror-covered walls stretching across the desert for 170 kilometers. Mind-blowing, right? They say 9 million people will live inside the line. That's almost like fitting the entire population of New York City inside a narrow line in the desert. Inside, there will be apartments, schools, hospitals, parks, and everything you need for daily life. And the best part? No cars. No pollution. Everything runs on clean energy. You can walk to anywhere you need in just 5 minutes. And if you need to go far, high-speed trains will take you there in 20 minutes. The construction of the line is absolutely massive. Right now, thousands of workers are digging into the desert, moving millions of tons of sand and rock, creating foundations for these giant buildings. It's the biggest construction project happening on Earth right now. Next up is Oxagon. This one is being built on the Red Sea coast, and it's going to be partly floating on water. Yes, you heard that right. A floating industrial city. Oxagon will be shaped like an octagon, which is where it gets its name. It's designed to be a hub for advanced manufacturing and technology. Think of it as a place where the world's smartest companies come to build futuristic products. They're planning to have research labs, factories, and innovation centers all in one place. The cool thing about Oxagon is that it will be a major port. Ships from all over the world can dock here. This means goods can be manufactured in Oxagon and then shipped anywhere on the planet quickly. Saudi Arabia wants this to become one of the most important industrial centers in the world. And just like everything else in NEOM, Oxagon will run on 100% clean energy. No fossil fuels, no pollution, just green technology powering everything. Now this next project sounds absolutely insane. It's called Trojena. And get this, they're building a ski resort in Saudi Arabia, in the middle of the desert. I know what you're thinking. How is that even possible? Well, Trojena is being built in the mountains of NEOM. Yes, there are actually mountains in this region. And in winter, it gets cold enough that some snow falls. But not enough for skiing. So what's Saudi Arabia doing? They're making artificial snow and building an artificial lake in the desert. Because why not? Trojena will be a luxury mountain resort. There will be ski slopes, hiking trails, mountain biking, and wellness retreats. They want people from all over the world to come here for adventure tourism. Imagine telling your friends you went skiing in Saudi Arabia. They'd probably think you're joking. The resort will also host international sporting events. Saudi Arabia is even planning to bid for the Winter Asian Games to be held in Trojena. This would be historic because it would be the first time a Middle Eastern country hosts winter sports. Last but not least, there's Sindalah. This is a luxury island resort being built in the Red Sea. It's designed for ultra-rich tourists who want to experience the best of the best. Sindalah will have fancy hotels, high-end restaurants, designer shops, and beautiful beaches. There will be marinas where people can park their expensive yachts. It's basically Saudi Arabia's version of Monaco or the Maldives. The island is almost complete. In fact, it's on the first parts of NEOM. That's actually finished. This shows that Saudi Arabia is serious about this project. They're not just making fancy videos and presentations. They're actually building real things. Sindalah is set to open soon, and it will be the first piece of NEOM that regular people can actually visit. Well, if you have enough money, that is. This isn't going to be a budget-friendly vacation spot. Now, as amazing as all of this sounds, NEOM faces some really serious challenges. Let's be honest here. Building a futuristic megacity in the middle of a desert is not easy. In fact, many experts say it might be impossible. First, there's the money problem. We're talking about $1.5 trillion. That's an absolutely insane amount of money. Even for a rich country like Saudi Arabia, This is a huge gamble. What if they run out of money halfway through? What if investors don't want to put their money into this project? Then there's the technical challenge. Some of the things they're promising sound like science fiction. Flying taxis? AI running everything? A 170-kilometer-long building? Nobody has ever built anything like this before. There's no instruction manual. They're basically trying to invent the future from scratch. Another big issue is the environment. Building in the desert is extremely difficult. It's hot. There's no water. Sandstorms can destroy construction work. And moving millions of tons of earth is damaging the natural landscape. Even though they say NEOM will be eco-friendly, the construction process itself is creating a lot of pollution. Here's something that doesn't get talked about enough. To build NEOM, Saudi Arabia had to move people out of their homes. Thousands of people who lived in small villages in this area were told to leave. The government gave them money to relocate, but many didn't want to go. This was their home. Their ancestors lived there for generations. Some people refused to leave and protested against the project. Sadly, this led to conflicts. Some protesters were arrested. There were reports of people being treated unfairly. This is the dark side of NEOM. That doesn't appear in the fancy promotional videos. It's important to remember that big projects like this affect real people's lives. Progress sometimes comes at a cost. And in this case, some families pay that cost. So here's the big question. Will NEOM actually work? Can Saudi Arabia pull this off? Honestly, nobody knows for sure. Many experts are skeptical. They say the plans are too ambitious, too expensive, too unrealistic. They point out that Saudi Arabia has announced big projects before that never got completed. But here's the thing. Saudi Arabia is actually building this. Right now, as you're reading this, thousands of workers are out there in the desert, constructing the line, building Oxagon, creating Trojena. This isn't just an idea on paper anymore. It's real construction happening on a massive scale. Will everything they promised come true? Probably not. Will the line actually be 170 kilometers long with 9 million people? Maybe not. Will they have flying taxis and hologram teachers? We'll have to wait and see. But even if they complete just half of what they're planning, it would still be one of the most impressive construction projects in human history. NEOM represents Saudi Arabia's big bet on the future. They're using their oil money today to build something that will hopefully make them rich tomorrow. It's risky, it's expensive, it's controversial, but it's also incredibly ambitious and bold. Whether you think NEOM is a brilliant idea or a crazy waste of money, you can't deny one thing. It's fascinating. We're watching a country try to build the future right before our eyes. Only time will tell if NEOM becomes the greatest city ever built or the most expensive failed project in history. But one thing is certain. The world is watching, and Saudi Arabia isn't backing down. The desert is changing, and NEOM is leading that change. What happens next? Well, that's a story that's still being written in the sand.